We are live. Good morning, everybody from Toronto, Canada. Appreciate everybody that's joining in with us from the Crypto Fight AMA session. What I'd like to do as much as possible is continue to answer some of the questions that came up during the AMA, but here in the live session, everybody has the opportunity to ask some new questions, and we are actually doing a giveaway. So I will give away 3 1 million token ESP tokens for questions that are answered in the live stream. So I'll pick the top 3, somewhat arbitrary, but anyways, the next 3 questions that, or maybe not the next 3, but 3 questions from the live session will reward. So while we wait for people to join the stream, what I'll do is I'll start to go over the questions that came out during the AMA session. There were so many. I don't know, there's 200-300 questions there. It's just not practical to answer all of them, but I'll take a stab at some of the best ones that I can quickly glean off of Telegram and any new ones that come up here. So let me just jump onto Telegram and just check to see what we got here for some questions here. Okay, Pierre Paulo had asked, what are your ways at scaling and developing your project in such a competitive time? What are your technological advantages over your competitors? Actually, this is a really good question. And this gets down to the work that we've been doing over the last 3 years. Though the token we've only been doing since the beginning of May, as it's a kind of a component to the overall scheme of things, we have some really unique technology that allows us pretty incredible scale. So we can handle millions of simultaneous users per time, or hundreds of millions of transactions per day type of thing. So if you can consider with our student information management system, when deployed on a country level, so somewhere like Vietnam that has 20 million students, you can think of maybe 4 or 5 million students simultaneously hitting our services to get their schedule in the beginning of the morning. So we have some secret sauce in our technology that allows us to dynamically scale and meet those load demands while also managing costs and whatnot, because again, in the developing world, cost is a key element and a huge barrier to entry. So being able to offer an ultra low cost platform that can scale out basically across an entire country was key to how we want to go to market. And so a lot of the technology, and this is all very low level stuff about how we make our services and whatnot, but how we actually get to support those kinds of demands, that's where we have a real competitive advantage. When you look at, especially in the student information management system side of things, there's a lot of bespoke applications that are out there, or other pre-made applications that cost tens of thousands of dollars to implement at a school level. The school has to get their own IT department, their own special staff to manage and administer, pay yearly fees as annual maintenance. So we take all that away, and basically the school pays a single fee on a per student basis that's equivalent to, say, a cup of coffee, and then we look after everything else. We manage the IT infrastructure, we provide onboarding teams. You don't have to have any special HR related resources within the corporation in order to leverage our technology. So first of all, we're literally pennies on the dollar compared to our competitors, as well as removing the HR components and the complexity of the platform. We'll send out onboarding teams, so they help you with the training and getting used with the system, getting teachers on board and how to input. Because one of the other factors when you're doing a student information management system is looking at what kind of load we're putting on the teachers themselves. We don't want them to spend a huge amount of extra overhead managing a different digital platform that they're going to put a lot of time into. Our preference is that there's focus placed on the student, having more teaching time, and therefore, again, another way of increasing the quality of the education. So it was a good question. Thank you. Pierre? Many people have asked about the security and how we're going about bringing, how do we secure everything? So security is always done in many layers. There's no single one thing that you can do to secure yourself. We practice as many best practices as possible, both in a physical security environment as well as a digital one. We also, in how we deploy our service architecture, there's inherent design choices in our architecture that also help secure data, access to accounts and these types of things. So whether you're using encryption, all these different types of things are there. So to begin with, when we look at the token itself, we went out and got the token contract certified by CertTech to make sure that we didn't have any known vulnerabilities in place, and another set of eyes against the code gave us the feeling of that we've secured this, we've worked out any bugs that may be there. And in fact, as part of that process, we did uncover a couple of vulnerabilities that we were able to correct. And so I think taking those extra steps, and we're investing that was a fairly expensive process to do, we were able to secure the token. We apply the same methodologies, though we don't certify the digital platforms themselves. If there is a smart contract they're going to interface with, indeed we will go out to a security firm to secure that contract, or at least get it certified. But internally, things with the website or how you purchase the tokens and whatnot, it's all through a secure connection to the website. Internally, we use a lot of different security protocols as well as encryption standards. So we're not, we don't store things in plain text and these types of things. So we do really spend a lot of time on the security aspect, because we believe that that's very, very important. Because the last thing we want to do is break the community trust by having a breach in our data somewhere, and somebody loses the value of their tokens, or tokens get stolen, or whatever it might be. Third thing is, from a community standpoint, all the uncirculated tokens from a physical standpoint are only controlled, or only not controlled, but have access by a single person, right? And then we also have a succession plan. So if something unfortunate happens to that one person, we have somebody else there's a methodology where they get transferred over, and they're again on different sides of the planet. So unless we get hit by an asteroid, I think that's pretty secure. But again, we have different layers, secure socket layers, the various types of encryption standards within the platform. We certify where it makes sense. Lots of our code, not all of it, some of the embedded platform stuff we do not, is not open source, though we do also use some open source frameworks that have been vetted by tens of thousands of developers and have been deployed in equal number of applications. So that gives us a very good, solid foundation to work from, that we can actually create and secure that environment. So security is a really large hot button topic with the not just with the project, but all the business units associated with the project. It's very important. Okay. Washi is asking my question. I would like to know about how to protect investors in your project. Is there any audit process? So we have the technical audits, as I was just mentioning, in terms of the technology side. On the financial side, we have corporate governance, where usage of funds, how we manage the capital that comes in from the proceeds from the coin. We treat it as capital. It's not income that we get to spend or dividend out or anything like this. It's retained by the corporation as capital. Now that capital is obviously used and leveraged to produce profit for the project that, again, we reinvest into the Coinbase. Of course, we'll have the compliance audits that we need to do on a financial aspect when we report to the government and these types of things. But we're also trying to be as transparent as possible. So as we do the buyback and burn program, we'll have a register on the website that shows you, once a month, here's the transaction where we purchase coins out of the open market, and here's the transaction that burned the coins to reduce the circulating supply. So we'll transparently always put that information on the website for all to see. Of course, all the other things that happen related to the token itself, you can easily see on etherscan.io. You can see the automated burns that happen on every single transaction, every single send that happens. The 1% transfer tax, the half of that goes to a burn and the other half is randomly distributed. So all that is traceable on the blockchain. That's one of the great things with the blockchain, is that it has to keep us all honest, because you can see where all the tokens are moving to, how they're burned, who gets the random distribution. And you can see that it isn't truly, in fact, random. And so from that perspective, we're really trying to protect the investor base as well. Unlike a lot of other projects out there, we're actually building out the use cases. We're the ones that are going to be running those businesses, that's providing the profit that comes back into the project to earn revenue, and then ultimately get that money back into the Coinbase. So from that perspective, we're also securing the investors with real businesses producing real results. I think that's pretty certain. And then the last thing, again, it comes down to some of this technical stuff. Is we will be posting more of our code on GitHub for everybody to see how we're managing, and wherever possible, we automate all the transfers or all the mechanisms are related to the token. Again, so we're doing this as transparently as possible. Now, that being said, because we're an organization and we exhibit control over the uncirculated tokens, that can potentially represent what somebody say, oh, that's ripe for a rug pull. And certainly that's the case in many of these projects that are out there. Our choice really is to manage by policy, and I think over the last 3 months, everybody's seen that we've been sticking to what we said we're going to do, and we continue to do that. And trust is earned. I don't expect that day one people just automatically blindly trust us, but we have to earn that trust. We have to earn your trust, and we only do that by following through on the commitments that we're making, advancing the different technologies on the roadmaps, doing the buyback and burn, and you'll see that there's these huge drops out in the marketplace where we're trying to take advantage of the market and grab some extra dollars. You'll also see in our white paper and on the website that we have certain limits in terms of what our seed investors are. We limited the seed investment to only 12.5% of the entire Coinbase, and I think this is really important. If you go to the ICO now on the website, you'll see that there's a 5 billion token limit for any account holder, which means that no account holder can hold any more than 1% of the overall Coinbase. So this is in a way that we're trying to reduce, a couple large institutions that will come in and maybe buy a sizable percentage of the coin, of the tokens, and then potentially have a very powerful effect on market pricing. So we're trying to limit that as much as possible. Though it hurts us a little bit because, you know, it'd be nice to get some large amounts in a single go. That's not good for the community. So we've made the conscious decision to make sure that we conscious decision that we're you know, going and putting these limits and making sure that we're as broadly spread across the community as possible. A good question. Just going to pop on, just let everybody know that we're on the chat here. And we'll just add this to the thing. All right, next question. How do you plan, Fakira Hamja, sorry. How do you plan to attract investors on your platform? What are your strategic partnerships till now? So we can't do this in a vacuum. Strategic partnerships are key, especially in our digital payment sector, where we've already publicly announced our partnership with Circle Blue. They provide electronic cash register, an entire ecosystem, so not just the register itself, but the deployment model, the back-end services to typically where they would deploy on a country level. So a couple of things that this does for us is when we're integrated onto their platform, we, in whatever country, will have literally thousands of points of presence, and each points of presence could act actually as a fiat to cryptocurrency exchange. But having it across thousands of merchants at once means that the utility of the coin as a payment vehicle becomes very ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Every merchant can use it back and forth, and so therefore the buying population can see that, you know, many merchants have it, and it's available service. It's terrible if it's only available through one or two points of presence or one or two merchants. The utility then is very limited. But going with a partnership like we have with Circle Blue across, again, thousands of merchants, that would be instantly available. So that's a very strong partnership for us in East Africa. We have another partnership that we're currently negotiating and working on that we hope to announce in this first part of September. Along the same lines, different geographic region within Africa, but certainly with the same deployment model, where, you know, day one, you don't have one or two devices, you're on maybe 10,000 devices type of thing. And so those are our key partnerships, and we'll leverage that outside of Africa as well, whether it's Vietnam or the Philippines or other more cash-based societies. This is a model that we believe is going to be highly effective. We have partnerships on the solar side. Again, we're not building out the actual installation teams that are putting out solar projects on the houses and whatnot. We have a partnership that does that. That's their expertise. And what we're providing is a decentralized finance app where we merge the two businesses together. So they're doing the demand creation for the projects, and they'll do the fulfillment side, and then we'll drive the micro-lending platform that helps bring these projects to fruition. Every one of these business use cases requires partnerships. And then on the educational side, we have individual educational institution agreements to move forward both on a beta and operational basis. We have agreements certainly in the UAE to get access to the highest levels of governments through a partnership that gives us direct access to the decision makers within the Ministry of Education, which is key. So this allows us to be represented and get on to the public school system for the entire country. And so having these types of partnerships makes sense. I've developed similar partnerships over the last 3 years across India. India is a little bit further down our roadmap, only because of the scale and size of India. 1.2 billion people, 330 million students, requires a somewhat different approach than even somewhere like Vietnam that has 100 million people, 20 million students, from a deployment standpoint. So I'm in each one of these verticals, we have to have partnerships. And then last, I think, is again on the educational content delivery platform, we need to be able to partner with content creators. We're not developing the content. We're not the experts in the content. So talk to expert. I'm not the actual expert. The content creators are the expert. And we need to have unique partnerships there that bring quality content to our platform, get that out there. Content creators, obviously, this turns into a revenue stream for them. And we have a shared profit model that makes sense, I think, for everybody. And I can disclose what that is. We take, depending on what it is, but typically around 20% of the overall revenue from the content that's sold on our platform. The remainder of that goes directly to the content creators. So they have a good vehicle for delivering content, and it's very similar to your typical app store mechanism. So that's how we're going to market with that. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Don't forget, we have 3 giveaways. So for live stream questions, I will be giving away 1 million ESP tokens to 3 lucky questions. So I'm just going to pop that onto the under our Telegram. So bear with me one moment. Okay, so let's continue on with the questions from the AMA session. Chow. Okay, I can't even say this name. My last name is Mako, M-A-C-A-O. What is the most ambitious goal of your project? What is the ultimate vision that your project is trying to achieve with the cryptocurrencies market? I would appreciate if you could share with us upcoming updates. Okay, so as I said before, we have a number of business units or use cases built around the token. So on our student information management system, we utilize the token as a payment vehicle for fees, lunches, books, field trips, that type of thing. Gives the parents very easy and convenient access to just do all those different functions directly from your smartphone, get updates from as to progress of the student, day-to-day activities, attendance, absence management, and all these types of things. But also fee payment is one of those functions that are built into the student information management system. So that's where it's used there. On our content delivery platform, Talk to Expert, consumers of content will pay for that content in ESP tokens. They can actually also earn ESP tokens by watching advertisements placed by advertisers who pay in ESP tokens. And then content creators obviously will be paid in ESP tokens for the content as it's consumed. So that model is entirely driven by the ESP token architecture. We're not going to be taking any other currencies, any other fiat. It's going to be 100% driven with the token, which also means that where our target markets, we have to make sure that there's effective means of doing fiat to cryptocurrency transactions, or make sure that there's an easy way to acquire the ESP token. So that is part of our deployment methodology and the things that we'll look at to make sure that there's no roadblocks to enabling users to use the system. And then on the solar side, we're providing a decentralized finance app that is a micro-lending architecture where basically it's a staking functionality where lenders will micro-lend into the platform, and then that platform will lend out to approved projects to get them to market and online. So I think each one of these businesses is a pretty tall order. So we have 3 or 4 of these businesses running in parallel, and that's probably the most ambitious goal, is to get these all done in parallel. I think that it's not such an easy process, but we've compartmentalized different aspects of the business so we can get some scale. So for instance, our support group will support all the different platforms. They'll be instructed on how to support those different platforms, but we'll have different sales and marketing because there's a different path to the actual market with each one of these platforms. So those remain separate, but we keep them, again, localized. So we're thinking globally, but we act locally, meaning that, for instance, with the student information management system in Vietnam, it's localized to the language, to a couple of nuances in how you run that system there. We'll have local onboarding teams speaking the language, doing the training, rolling things out. When we move to other countries, say it's the Philippines, then we'll do it in Tagalog. When we go to the UAE, again, we'll do it in Arabic and multiple languages actually. And one of the roadblocks for us, and one of the reasons why India is a little bit further down the roadmap, is that there's so many regional languages in India that we want to make sure that we can properly domain each area with the service, almost basically acting in each region as a separate country, so a separate architecture, separate team. So this is a pretty big undertaking in terms of different deployment groups, localizing for language, having a support center that supports all these different languages. So we need to get some water under the bridge with us in order to make that where we can effectively tackle such a big market. So again, that's in the late 2022 range, maybe even 2023, and it wouldn't surprise me if it flows into the following year, just because of the magnitude of that kind of project. But yeah, overall, I think there's still the most ambitious goal really is bringing all these things online at the same time, as well as the token itself. The project is a bit of a business that has to be managed. We have to manage exchanges, funds flows, the awareness campaigns and all that stuff. So there's lots of things, and that's a big one. Okay, next one. How can users stay updated with this project? Are the channels included, including local communities where users can get the latest updates? Yeah, the easiest and best thing I believe right now are really 2 places. Our Telegram channel, we have an announcement channel which you can get links to off the website. In fact, the best starting point is our website, espcoin.io. If you're on a browser, on the left-hand side of the screen is a social media selection list there. So whether it's Telegram, Reddit, Medium, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and this YouTube channel, they're all there for you to just click and get access to. So that'll be your one of the points of interest. If you scroll down further down the page, and certainly this is the case for mobile users, all those media links are at the bottom of the page, but we have a news section, so either you can click the menu in the news, but we'll give you access to all the current news as we see it, as it's hitting the wire, and we'll try to get that up on the website in a timely fashion, as well as any of the announcements. So that's another location to get current information. Again, so that's, I think, the easiest way to stay up to date with us. Certainly, a lot of, again, there's more questions here coming up about, where do we buy the token? How do we get the token? Currently today, the token is available directly off that same website, espcoin.io. Click the ICO button, and then it allows you to purchase the token. The price is stated in Ether. Through this interface on the website, use a digital wallet like MetaMask connected to the website. So there's a button there where you click connect, and then you can make the purchase. We also have a decentralized exchange with Uniswap, which allows you then to swap between literally hundreds of different digital assets, Ethereum based, and the ESP token. So for many, that's a more convenient, easy way to go. Just a note there, we are on version 2 of Uniswap and not on version 3. So when you first go to the website, you click launch the app, and you try to, you have to add the token, so you'll need the contract address from the website. And you'll notice that a lot of people ask, where do I get this contract address? And I always say, just go to the website instead of me just copying and putting it on the social media channels. And this is one of those best practices that we follow from a securities aspect. So nobody can, nobody's spoofing the address and potentially stealing your money. So if you go to the official website, which is espcoin.io, you can click the token contract address, and it'll copy the address into the copy buffer. Then you can add that in Uniswap. Once it's added, and then you put in the amount of tokens you want to purchase, or Ether that you want to, or whatever other digital tokens you want to swap from into ESP tokens. The first thing that'll pop up, it says, oh, there's no liquidity. Try version 2. Click on version 2. Our liquidity is based in version 2. It's a very simple and quick interface. Takes literally under a minute to do the swap, and away you go. So we've seen some uptake there. And right now, I would say that because the pricing on Uniswap is driven through the balance in the liquidity pool, that price will vary differently from the static price that we have on the website in Ether. So today, or at least as it was this morning, the price was a little, or actually, it's at a bit of a discount now to what's on the website. We get a couple new purchases in, it'll swing the other way, and we've seen the prices significantly higher than the website as well. So, as we get more following in the community, we'll be adding liquidity to Uniswap, which would reduce the amount of price swings in the token and make that a little bit more stable. But certainly it's market driven now, so there will be opportunities, and I think one exists right now to get it at a lower cost than what you would typically see it at. And we are negotiating with the central exchange, a whole bunch of them. It's been a longer process than we originally anticipated back in May. And this is just due to the fact that the exchanges are overloaded with the number of applicants that are out there. There's lots of new projects out there. So we're going through that process, but expect now to be on pretty soon. That's really a top priority for us, because that's, again, where for the investor base, where having widespread adoption through a large user base that you would typically get out of a central exchange, provides stability to the overall token ecosystem. So we're hell bent to getting there, and hook or crook, we'll make it happen very soon. So there's more news to announce as time goes on. Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot of questions about security of finances and rug pulls. Again, we're a corporation, we're based in Europe, so we have certain compliance requirements in the European Union that we must follow. We do our own internal audits, and we have our own policy that manages how we go to market with the coin. As you'll see, we're not dumping coin onto the market at crazy low prices or doing any type of rug pull activity. As time goes on, we expect that we're building that trust for the community as we build out. For us, the token is a very long-term plan. It's part of the use cases in all these different businesses, whether it's education, renewable energy, or digital payments. So we can't be in a situation where we see massive swings in the price, or there's like these events like rug pulls and whatnot that would just decimate not only the token but the operational models of each one of those businesses. We can't do that, right? So we're actively always doing things to stabilize and continue to add value to the token, and building value into the businesses and protecting those businesses, because as the operational businesses become larger and more deployed, we're even more and more dependent on the success and utility of the token. So that's paramount for us. Okay. Let's just go on to any more questions here. What makes you, Lori McLean asks, what makes you feel confident about the survival and sustainable success of your project in the near future? While you build your project, do you take into account community feedbacks and demands? First of all, community feedback is absolutely key. Every question that's asked in all these AMA sessions, emails that we get, people that we meet, help form some of the direction of the project, and there's a lot of influence there. That's absolute. We are very dependent on the community. As for the success of the project and its long-term longevity, we've architected it this way, right? We're not just a token that is going to be, everybody, there's lots of hype, and then all of a sudden, there's a rug pull or something or whatnot, and then that's the end of the coin. For us, we're building a utility token, right? That means that it's going to be used in these different use cases, and so we're long haulers. Now, in terms of our confidence in success, we have was very quick to do the seed round. It was only a few days, in fact, only 3 days, I think, to get the interest or commitment from everybody for our initial seed round, which we sold off the 12.5% of the token. So the uptake was very quick. We also have very significant investor interest in the business units themselves. So where there might be an equity placement or whatnot, and I've got 3 different discussions going on right now for significant funds to support the business, the business, and getting those out to market. And again, always at those business units, we expect to use the token as the form of payment in one way, shape, or form, depending on the business unit or on the use case. So I'm very confident that these programs are going forward. I've been involved on the educational side and some other digital platforms that we put together for 3 years now, building out the use case. I've personally invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring it to this part, to this phase where, develop the technology, develop the business relationships, develop the partnerships, and then also customers. One of the things that I made sure was I've spent in 2019, 9 months in Vietnam, just qualifying and managing and setting up and getting ready for the business. Unfortunately, 2020 was a bit of a lost year due to COVID and whatnot, which slowed things down and whatnot. And also, from us, getting funding in place for the ultimate growth of the project, we ran into some COVID-related challenges, which actually, is what brought us into the token in the first place. And while investigating, while looking at the token, what do we do? is the token addressed some key issues in each one of our platforms around the digital payments, value transfer, how we do things internationally, that solves a lot of issues for us. So it was a strong use case that pushed us over the edge to making the decision to actually create the token and move forward. Okay. A lot of the same types of questions here. Tara Terry, as an individual user, in what way can I contribute to the development? Do you have ambassador programs, and what are its benefits? And good question. Ways that everybody can help obviously is the more tokens that we get distributed, the quicker we get to some of our development goals, because not only development, but we also have financial goals tied to the development that are based now within the token itself. So certainly that helps us, getting tokens out there. But really it's spreading the word, having token evangelists that believe in the business case, what we're doing, whether it's education, renewable energy, democratizing digital payments for, developing nations around the world. The more word that gets out there, the more people purchasing tokens really helps us. And I think that's key. So if you guys are posting this stuff on social media, I thank you very much. That's a humongous help for us, and we appreciate it. So that's absolutely key. And so we're, as almost all these projects are, we are very dependent on the community for the success of the token. The success of the business is a combination of both our natural investor base as well as the token. So certainly these things go hand in hand. But the more that you can do and the more you can get out there, great. And then one last little thing. I mean, it's just a little bit, but people who give us a thumbs up on this channel and in the social media, as you see things, they retweet the material that we're putting out. That helps. So feel free to give us a thumbs up if it's valuable. If you think what we're doing is helpful and you support it, please do support us with that thumbs up, and certainly subscribe. The more people we get subscribing to the different channels, the various algorithms pick this up in terms of activity and interest, and just elevates us in the ratings in various search engines and first page activity, which is really what we're all trying to do to grow the project. So that's real key. We do look for strategic partnerships as well for building out the community. They're going to be much better connected individuals to evangelize what we're doing. They're marketing companies that have better reach, better communication skills than I have, which is obvious right now. And we will continue to invest in all those channels in order to build out the community. This is again, we're long haulers. This is a long-term project, and doesn't happen overnight. We're a little more than 12 weeks into this, so we've achieved an awful lot in a short period of time. Though the token's 12 months old, or 12 weeks old, the business unit, certainly on the educational side, is 2 and 3 years old. So these are starting to become very mature and ready to hit the market in scale. And we need that token to be prevalent everywhere, ubiquitous, such that we can get that scale for the different platforms. All right. Okay. Well, I think it's been pretty quiet today on the stream. though we had a number of people come and go, but not so many questions, and maybe all the questions have been asked in the Telegram channel. So we'll save the giveaways to maybe something we can do later on in the day or over the next couple of days. We'll certainly be doing more of these live streams and other marketing events, so this is not the only opportunity to get coins, but I highly encourage you is if you can, pick up some coins, help us out. That helps us, that's validating us as a project, and that brings your support. And it's support that I think that's going to bring you back value over time. So it's not just you know, a throwaway expense. We're hopefully backfilling that with real value for you that you're going to enjoy some appreciation over time. Please again give us a thumbs up where it's warranted. Subscribe to the channel, and yeah, hit espcoin.io and pick up that those tokens. And we look forward to seeing you at the next live stream. All right, take care.